What's your favorite dish to cook?
My favorite dish is spaghetti with tomato sauce.
Who taught you how to cook?
My mom taught me.
How old were you when you started cooking?
I started cooking at 7.
Where do you cook in your house?
I cook in the kitchen.
How do you feel when you cook?
I feel happy and proud.
What ingredients do you need for spaghetti?
I need pasta, tomato sauce, and cheese.
Why do you like cooking spaghetti?
It's easy and delicious.
How long does it take to cook spaghetti?
It takes about 20 minutes.
When do you usually cook spaghetti?
I cook it for dinner.
How do you make your tomato sauce?
I mix tomatoes, garlic, and olive oil.
What do you like to cook for breakfast?
I like cooking pancakes.
Who do you cook pancakes for?
I cook them for my family.
How do you serve your pancakes?
I serve them with syrup and fruit.
When do you cook pancakes?
I cook them on weekends.
Why do you like cooking pancakes?
They are fluffy and delicious.
How do you feel when you cook pancakes?
I feel excited and hungry.
What's your secret ingredient in pancakes?
I add a pinch of cinnamon.
How do you know when pancakes are ready?
They turn golden brown.
What do you like to cook for lunch?
I like cooking sandwiches.
How do you make your sandwiches?
I use bread, cheese, and vegetables.
Why do you like cooking sandwiches?
They are quick and tasty.
When do you cook sandwiches?
I cook them for lunch.
How do you feel when you cook sandwiches?
I feel creative and satisfied.
What's your favorite type of sandwich?
I like grilled cheese sandwiches.
How do you make your grilled cheese sandwiches?
I use bread, cheese, and butter.
Why do you like cooking grilled cheese sandwiches?
They are gooey and yummy.
How do you feel when you cook grilled cheese sandwiches?
I feel warm and cozy.
What do you like to cook for dinner?
I like cooking chicken stir fry.
How do you make your chicken stir fry?
I use chicken, vegetables, and soy sauce.
Why do you like cooking chicken stir fry?
It's healthy and flavorful.
When do you cook chicken stir fry?
I cook it for dinner.
How do you feel when you cook chicken stir fry?
I feel skilled and accomplished.
What's your favorite dessert to cook?
My favorite dessert is chocolate chip cookies.
How do you make your chocolate chip cookies?
I use butter, sugar, chocolate chips, and flour.
Why do you like cooking chocolate chip cookies?
They are sweet and tasty.
When do you cook chocolate chip cookies?
I cook them for special occasions.
How do you feel when you cook chocolate chip cookies?
I feel like a master baker.
What's your favorite fruit to cook with?
My favorite fruit is strawberries.
How do you use strawberries in your cooking?
I use them in salads and desserts.
Why do you like cooking with strawberries?
They are juicy and sweet.
When do you cook with strawberries?
I cook with them in the summer.
How do you feel when you cook with strawberries?
I feel fresh and fruity.
What's your favorite kitchen tool for cooking?
My favorite tool is the spatula.
How do you use the spatula in cooking?
I use it to flip pancakes and stir, fry.
Why do you like using the spatula?
It's handy and versatile.
When do you use the spatula in cooking?
I use it when cooking on the stovetop.
How do you feel when you use the spatula?
I feel like a pro chef.
What's your favorite drink to make?
My favorite drink is lemonade.
How do you make your lemonade?
I use lemons, water, and sugar.
Why do you like making lemonade?
It's refreshing and tangy.
When do you make lemonade?
I make it on hot summer days.
How do you feel when you make lemonade?
I feel like a thirst-quenching expert.
What's your favorite vegetable to cook with?
My favorite vegetable is broccoli.
How do you use broccoli in your cooking?
I use it in stir, fries and salads.
Why do you like cooking with broccoli?
It's nutritious and green.
When do you cook with broccoli?
The first cook with it for dinner.
How do you feel when you cook with broccoli?
I feel healthy and strong.
What's your favorite kitchen appliance for cooking?
My favorite is the blender.
How do you use the blender in cooking?
I use it to make smoothies and soups.
Why do you like using the blender?
It blends ingredients smoothly.
When do you use the blender in cooking?
I use it for breakfast and soups.
How do you feel when you use the blender?
I feel like a kitchen magician.
What's your favorite seasoning to use in cooking?
My favorite is garlic powder.
How do you use garlic powder in cooking?
I use it in pasta and stir fries.
Why do you like using garlic powder?
It adds a delicious flavor.
When do you use garlic powder in cooking?
I use it in savory dishes.
How do you feel when you use garlic powder?
I feel like a flavor master.
What's your favorite meat to cook with?
My favorite is chicken.
How do you cook chicken?
I bake it or stir fry it.
Why do you like cooking with chicken?
It's versatile and tasty.
When do you cook chicken?
I cook it for dinner.
How do you feel when you cook chicken?
I feel like a chef in training.
What's your favorite kitchen gadget for cooking?
My favorite gadget is the can opener.
How do you use the can opener in cooking?
I use it to open cans of ingredients.
Why do you like using the can opener?
It's handy and time-saving.
When do you use the can opener in cooking?
I use it for canned tomatoes and beans.
How do you feel when you use the can opener?
I feel like a kitchen helper.
What's your favorite dessert to bake?
My favorite is apple pie.
How do you make your apple pie?
I use apples, sugar, and cinnamon.
Why do you like baking apple pie?
It's sweet and comforting.
When do you bake apple pie?
I bake it for special occasions.
How do you feel when you bake apple pie?
I feel like a pastry chef.
What's your favorite kitchen utensil for cooking?
My favorite is the wooden spoon.
How do you use the wooden spoon in cooking?
I use it to stir and mix ingredients.
Why do you like using the wooden spoon?
It's gentle on pots and pans.
When do you use the wooden spoon in cooking?
I use it when cooking on the stovetop.
How do you feel when you use the wooden spoon?
I feel like a kitchen conductor.
What's your favorite sauce to make?
My favorite is tomato sauce.
How do you make your tomato sauce?
I use tomatoes, garlic, and herbs.
Why do you like making tomato sauce?
It's versatile and delicious.
When do you make tomato sauce?
I make it for pasta dishes.
How do you feel when you make tomato sauce?
I feel like an Italian chef.
What's your favorite spice to use in cooking?
My favorite is cinnamon.
How do you use cinnamon in cooking?
I use it in desserts and oatmeal.
Why do you like using cinnamon?
It adds a warm and sweet flavor.
When do you use cinnamon in cooking?
I use it in sweet dishes.
How do you feel when you use cinnamon?
I feel cozy and nostalgic.
What's your favorite pasta dish to cook?
My favorite is macaroni and cheese.
How do you make your macaroni and cheese?
I use macaroni, cheese, and milk.
Why do you like cooking macaroni and cheese?
It's creamy and comforting.
When do you cook macaroni and cheese?
I cook it for dinner.
How do you feel when you cook macaroni and cheese?
I feel like a pasta pro.
What's your favorite kitchen appliance for cooking?
My favorite is the toaster.
How do you use the toaster in cooking?
I use it for toasting bread and bagels.
Why do you like using the toaster?
It gives a nice crunch to bread.
When do you use the toaster in cooking?
I use it for breakfast.
How do you feel when you use the toaster?
I feel like a breakfast chef.
What's your favorite soup to cook?
My favorite is chicken noodle soup.
How do you make your chicken noodle soup?
I use chicken, vegetables, and noodles.
Why do you like cooking chicken noodle soup?
It's comforting and tasty.
When do you cook chicken noodle soup?
I cook it when it's cold outside.
How do you feel when you cook chicken noodle soup?
I feel like a soup master.
What's your favorite kitchen tool for cooking?
My favorite tool is the whisk.
How do you use the whisk in cooking?
I use it to beat eggs and mix ingredients.
Why do you like using the whisk?
It helps make things fluffy.
When do you use the whisk in cooking?
I use it when making desserts.
How do you feel when you use the whisk?
I feel like a baking expert.
What's your favorite type of soup to cook?
My favorite is tomato soup.
How do you make your tomato soup?
I use tomatoes, broth, and cream.
Why do you like cooking tomato soup?
It's smooth and comforting.
When do you cook tomato soup?
I cook it for lunch or dinner.
How do you feel when you cook tomato soup?
I feel like a soup chef.
What's your favorite baking dish to use?
My favorite is the cake pan.
How do you use the cake pan in baking?
I use it to bake cakes and brownies.
Why do you like using the cake pan?
It creates beautiful desserts.
When do you use the cake pan for baking?
I use it for special occasions.
How do you feel when you use the cake pan?
I feel like a dessert artist.
What's your favorite fruit dessert to bake?
My favorite is apple crisp.
How do you make your apple crisp?
I use apples, sugar, and crumble topping.
Why do you like baking apple crisp?
It's warm and delicious.
When do you bake apple crisp?
I bake it for fall gatherings.
How do you feel when you bake apple crisp?
I feel like a dessert expert.